There are many different types of cycles. For instance, business cycles, weather cycles, long-term market cycles, etc. What I'm talking about here are cycles that occur in intraday trading and how to identify and trade them profitably. As you know, markets move in one of four ways. They trend, they cycle within a trend, and they consolidate. You can make money on three of these four movements, provided you detect them early enough. Trends are stronger than cycles, although a trend will often begin with a cycle. In fact, one could say that a cycle is just a short-term trend in the most general definition of a trend. I developed the swing cycle VB indicator to plot cycles and to quantify overbought and oversold conditions. However, I realized that I had no objective method of determining the dominant cycle length of any equity, and so I started a quest to develop an indicator/utility that would do just that. The result of that quest is the CycleFinder. This indicator/utility determines the dominant cycle length of any equity. Cycles are measured from top to top or bottom to bottom. This length is the dominant cycle. If you take half that length and input it into the swing cycle VB, you then plot each cycle from top to bottom and bottom to top, which can be very helpful in getting in as well as getting out of a trade. This is a chart of the COMEX gold futures, and you can see it's cycling here, and then it begins to trend over here, and it cycles within the trend. Now down at the bottom here you can see the CycleFinder, and it determined that the dominant cycle length of the COMEX gold futures right here is 18, and this is the swing cycle with 18 entered into its cycle length input. And you can see that it really doesn't catch the top and the bottom of these cycles. It crosses below the variable band way over here, and it crosses above it way over here. And so the problem with this is that it measures from top to top of the cycles or bottom to bottom of the cycles, but it doesn't measure the top and bottom of each cycle. Now here, as you can see, the cycle length is 18. This is still the same chart of the COMEX gold futures, but here I'm measuring half cycle, so I've entered 9 into the inputs, and you can see how it catches the bottom of this cycle and the top of the cycle right here, and it catches the bottom of the cycle right here and the top of the cycle right here. Catches the bottom right in here and the top right here. So you can see how much more accurate that makes the swing cycle VB indicator when you can objectively determine what the dominant cycle length is of any particular equity. So you can catch the very beginning of a cycle, and you can get out at the very top of the cycle right in here. Now this is a chart of the YM, and you can see that dominant cycle length is not just a fixed number that always accompanies a particular equity. You can see over here it was at 18, and then right at this area the dominant cycle length moved to 20. So You could change this to 10 at this beginning of this movement in here. You can change the swing cycle length to 10, and you can see how it picks up the beginning here. It shows the end of the cycle right here. Another cycle starts right in here and ends right up here. Now here you've got a failed up cycle, and so even though this crosses the variable band here, you wouldn't go long on this because the DMI differential stays below its zero line right here. It shows some green dots, which shows an upward bias, but it's still a downtrend in through here, and then comes back down here. Then the cycle picks up right here, crosses up here, turns green right in this area, and shows that it comes to an end right in this area right here. So you don't have to keep the CycleFinder plotted all the time, but some equities do change periodically, and you can take advantage of this change by being very precise on your inputs with the swing cycle VB indicator. Now here's a screenshot of the Euro US dollar on the 2 Renko chart, and you can see the dominant cycle is very stable here. It's at 14, and so you would set the DC length on the swing cycle VB to 7, and you can see this is the beginning of an uptrend here, and you can see how it picks up the very beginning of the uptrend here. Now crosses below the variable band right here, and as this uptrend slows down right in here, and however the DMI differential stays above its zero line here, a few red dots indicating a downward bias right in here. But because that stays above the zero line, you can stay in the trade, or depending on how you like to trade, you could get out of the trade here when this triangle completes itself and the swing cycle moves down here. Now you know it's not going to be any kind of a downtrend beginning here, because the swing cycle stays green and it's a failed down cycle. It doesn't get all the way to the bottom and then it starts up again here. The momentum is still down in here, but the equity moves up very nicely here, and the swing cycle crosses below the variable band right here, right around when this triangle completes itself right over here. And this is probably a good place to get out of this trade, because it's right at the top of the linear regression channel right in through here. Now here's a screenshot of the 2 Renko ES, and here's the CycleFinder right here, and you can see that for a good bit of the time the dominant cycle length is 20. For a short period of time it goes up to 22 right in here. So difference between 20 and 22 would be either setting the cycle length on the swing cycle VB to either 10 or 11. So 1 point difference in there does not make any appreciable difference in the function of the indicator. So for the most part, this cycle length will stay at 20, and so you would set the swing cycle VB cycle length at 10, and this is how it looks at 10. Picks up the bottom of this cycle here and the top of the cycle right here, and then it's a little bit of a failed up cycle right in here, and then it starts up again right here and crosses above the variable band to pick up the rest of this cycle, and the cycle ends up here and begins again right here as this equity starts to trend, and you can find this to be very helpful in getting in and out of tops and bottoms of the equity price movement. Now, the CycleFinder is not part of the Triangle Trend package, and it sells separately, and you can find it listed separately when you click on Purchase and scroll down the list of the individual indicators that are available.